Welcome to Are We Gonna Talk About It with Ty
and Taryn. It is a space where we have candid conversations surrounding
faith, marriage,
family, and ministry.
Here we go.
Hey, let's talk.
Let's talk. Got our glasses today.
Got my coffee
We've
today.
been having water the last couple of episodes, but I got my cocoa today.
So I've been really trying to just drink more water. So if I drink my coffee, I drink some water, or make 2 bottles of water, and then I go back to my second cup of coffee.
Get that
Don't
water.
judge me. But, yeah.
And
I got my straw. Welcome.
What's up, everybody? How are y'all doing?
We were having a pre-conversation before the conversation before the conversation.
Yes, we were having a
Yes,
whole
that's what
lot
we
of
were doing.
conversations, and even the conversation that we'll get into today is some stuff that we're combing through this morning.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared, because what y'all are getting in these episodes is actually conversation as it plays out.
Yeah.
Like, obviously sometimes we'll sit down, we'll say this is what we want to talk about, and we may
Right.
have a couple notes. But what you're getting is on the spot conversation, just like we normally have it behind the scenes. So what you see is what you get.
Now, we got to preface that by saying, with these episodes, we're not just trying to put all our business out there, but this is candid. This is real. This is authentic.
Who likes putting their business out there?
I know, but
Not me.
We are prayerful in even what we are thinking about talking about on here, as well as when we get ready to record. We have to pray.
As a matter of
ask
fact,
Holy Spirit to lead us.
Our prayer this morning was that God would use us, that God would speak through us, but speak to us
as
both at
well.
the same time.
Right. And the only reason I wanted to share that is because I know, people may have desires to do things like this, or you might just want to go live on social media or whatever it is. But, you still have to be, I guess, mindful, prayerful, and just aware of what you're sharing and who you're sharing it with. And so.
Absolutely.
Boom. Yeah.
I hope y'all are doing great.
Yes, I do hope the same.
You picked a great episode to jump in. Like all of our episodes,
Right.
I believe, are really good.
I go back and listen to, and I'm like, oh man,
that's good.
That was
information.
good.
That was pretty good.
That was good.
Listen, if you're listening, make sure that you are subscribed so that you can get notifications every single time a video is released. Because when a video is released, sometimes we don't put something on social media until maybe hours later.
Yeah.
But you'll get the videos well before anybody else ever sees anything about it. Make sure you subscribe if you're on social media. IG. Make sure that you follow TikTok. We got content on there as well.
Right.
But just make sure that you are locked in so that you can continue to get content right when it comes out before anybody else gets it.
Please do. We love it.
How are you feeling today?
I am feeling great.
I'm
feeling so wonderful. Just quick, I actually got to go on a, not necessarily we call it a retreat, but an advance. That's just the wording that was used for it. And just came back. Life just completely changed. I won't go into detail for this episode.
Just share one nugget. Just one nugget.
One nugget specifically for me was just being just firm in my stance and what I believe as far as my relationship with God.
Yeah.
And not allowing myself to be swayed by people or opinions. And even now coming back, guarding, being very intentional with guarding what I receive. Yeah. Because it's easy to, be able, it's easy when you come off this high from a conference or an event or something, you kind of get back into your routine and then you end up losing or not really cherishing and then going back and soaking in what you learn or what you encounter, what you experience. So that's been my mode right now, just guarding the good deposit.
Guarding the good
deposit.
That's really
it's
good.
A word coming from that very soon.
Yeah.
I don't know when.
So did you have time? Did you have time to rest?
I did.
And recoup even.
Yeah, and I did. And that's what I liked about this particular getaway. It was we had the speakers and things like that, but then we had the rest of the day to just do whatever we wanted to do. So I had moments to myself, which was my intent was to be able to say, okay, I want to go get fed, get the word, but then I want to have time to myself. I really, I knew, people were going to be there, people probably want to catch up and things like that. And so I was glad to be able to have both, the time to myself, but then also being able to catch up and just, talk to people and just pour and encourage one another. Yeah. So it was
I feel like you got to recognize those moments where, like, I guess for any task that you're doing, is this something that I'm going to just to completely get filled up? Is this something I'm going to work?
Yeah.
Is this something I'm going to for rest, to be restored, to be poured into, to be able to have your mindset? But for you to be able to get poured into and rest at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the ideal situation. That is the ideal situation.
So thank you for allowing me to go and staying here and holding down the fort with the kids.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Obviously I would have loved to have been there, even though it was a women's conference. Women's conferences be going hard.
They dope.
I ain't gonna hold you. Women's conferences go hard. I mean, like decorations, music,
so you want that for the men.
Oh, for the men.
So y'all, okay, so real quick, because I've been telling him for the longest. I was like, if you have a men's conference, like, I have no doubt that the guys would show up.
Y'all put it in the comments.
Please let us know, y'all.
If I had a men's conference, would you come? Or if you're not a man, would you invite your brother? Your nephew, your uncle, your husband, your cousin, your father.
Would you tell them?
Would you tell them about it?
Do you all think he should do one? I've been really encouraging him on that to do it.
I'm not running away from it.
And I'm glad you're not.
I'm not running away from it.
It has to happen.
Yeah.
I just know, like,
I'm sure it does.
Men,
come through.
Yeah.
Come through.
Y'all
we got some
us.
things that we want to talk about this morning that I think will be good for us. That I think will be good even for all of our listeners.
Okay.
Some things that I think will really help them, especially in this social media driven world. And as a segue, one of the things, I don't think it's completely kept me from doing a men's conference, but one of the things, if I'm being completely honest with myself, when you see different conferences on social media, when you hear about different things that other, not even just churches, but groups or organizations are doing even around the city, you have a tendency in this social media driven world to like look at everybody else, to look at everything else. And then when you look at your own stuff, it's just like, but mine don't look like that. Mine don't sound like that. Like, you know what I mean? And that's, again, as a segue, that's kind of, our conversation today.
Let's go there.
Because sometimes it absolutely looks like the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah.
It looks like, and if we could be more specific, even dealing with relationships or dealing with marriage, right? Have you ever been on social media or even been in a conversation with other ladies or couples or groups, and then catch yourself looking at other people like, dang, like that looks like the ideal situation. That looks like the life. Oh, I just wish I could go on vacations that much. I wish our family could. I wish my husband would. I wish my kids. I wish, like, have you ever dealt with that, and how do you handle those thoughts, or at least comparison?
I definitely have dealt with comparison.
Yeah.
And in, I think, each of those areas, that has been something that would try to like stick its ugly head up with, with certain things on social media.
Yeah.
And, because I think that's where I see it more, just on social media. Because of course you have access to the lives of people. Of course, that's not all that their life, but you get the highlight reel, from their life. And I have experienced that, encountering those feelings of like, man, like they always, or look at that person, or man, they trellis. And I think the one that hits me the most is when I see like people our age who are parents, and they're
people that look like you,
people that look like
you, your peers.
And I think for me right now is like seeing them like, dang, how many vacations they get to go on, things like that. Like, because it's something that, I do desire for us. And so, of course, when, you see like other people being able to do these things, for me, I have experienced that. Now, what I've had to do is to protect my heart. There's a thing called the unfollow button. You know?
Now talk about that a little bit. Because some people only know of the unfollow and the block button and the delete option. They only know of that option when it is stuff that's toxic.
Yeah.
Or when it is stuff that's really bad.
Yes, sir.
Or when it's things like, I don't want to see that. That's horrible. That's nasty. Or they keep on attacking me. Trolls, delete, block.
No.
But what about when it's actually good?
And it's actually good. And that's the thing.
Speak to that.
I literally had to unfollow, not because the person was bad or they were showing some things that was toxic and not good for me. It wasn't good for my heart because I know my heart. The heart is deceitful. You know, the Bible talks about the heart being deceitful. And so you
had to guard your heart against something good.
I had to guard my heart against something good because it was in me producing something that was not godly.
It was good, but it was producing something that wasn't godly.
Yeah, but I didn't just stop there. Did you hear what you just
said?
Amen.
It was good, but it was producing something that wasn't godly.
Yeah.
It was producing something in your heart that wasn't
godly.
Yeah.
Yes. And so for me, I didn't just stop there because I think that's the thing. It's just like, okay, well, I don't see it out of sight, out of mind. Yeah. But no, you still got to deal with the issues in your heart. Like, okay, I unfollowed to protect myself for where I am right now. That's acknowledgement of the situation, the realness of it. Like, okay, there's some things in my heart that I need to take to the Lord.
Yeah.
So I didn't just stop at, okay, unfollow now. They're not on my feed no more. Let me get back to scrolling and looking at everybody else. No, after that, I had to go talk to the Lord about that thing. Like, Lord, why am I feeling this way? Like, why is this? Lord, I don't like this. Yeah. I don't even want to feel this way.
I should be applauding for them, which I do. Yeah. I should be clapping for them, which I do. I should be praising them, encouraging them, which I do.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Let me be a little bit more specific. For instance, if I were to see, somebody on social media who is always doing the things that I believe that I should be doing in life. Man, I feel like I should have been here already. Yeah. I feel like I should accomplish this. I feel like I should have done this. But I'm seeing somebody who is currently doing it. One of two things I believe happens. Either you glean from them.
Yes.
Or you become jealous. Right? Because they have everything that you desire. They're doing everything that you want to do.
Yeah.
Either you glean or you become jealous.
Yes.
And so obviously you glean and it's just like, let me see what I can get. Let me see what I can take. Let me see what notes, because they're already doing it.
You
so
recognize
let me
it's something that's feeding you or encouraging you along your journey.
Yeah. But then if you ever notice a little bit of jealousy start to settle in, then you almost got to take a step back. Like, wait a minute.
Right.
Like, do I want what they have or do I want it for me? Or again, like you said, why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
And so, okay, let me take a step back. I'm not mad at them. I'm not angry at them. I don't want God to stop blessing them.
Right.
But why do I feel this way? Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not shutting it down because I don't want them to be blessed.
Yeah.
I am choosing to unfollow or so that I can go.
Or what is it called? Mute.
Yeah, or mute, so that I can go within myself, because those are triggers.
Yeah.
Those are, every time you see it, it's a trigger. Man, I'm supposed to.
Yeah, and we're not. We really can't afford to ignore it when it happens.
Absolutely not. Here's the thing about the grass. It's like, and not to say that this is everybody. We're going to talk about two parts, a bunch of factors about the grass, right?
Cover it a lot.
So in some situations, you might find that the grass is not greener, that it might be, and you've probably heard this before, the grass ain't greener, it's artificial, right? And it's still hard to swallow because it still looks good. And again, with the social media driven world, we don't care, a lot of people don't care what it's actually like in real life.
Yeah.
They just want everybody else to see that everything is good on the outside.
Yeah.
So even if I got artificial grass, let it be artificial, because everybody's going to see that it's green. Everybody's going to know that I got it. You know what I'm saying? But then how many other people are looking at your life, or how many people are we looking at maybe who are going on these trips, but in debt for each and every one of them?
But that's the thing too. And so I think about that too, because I feel like that helps to bring you back down and say, okay, they may not be dealing or struggling in this area, or they might have this area, or, kind of like you set it up. But then I also tell myself that what I've learned is, like, I don't have to go and try to validate my, the way I feel or belittle what they're doing, you know, so that I can make myself feel better, you know.
Right.
And so
or even things like relationships. If you see somebody who is just always doing and doing and doing for their spouse, it can kind of make you feel like, dang, my husband don't do that for me. When the last time my husband bought me flowers?
Yeah.
When the last time my husband upgraded my ring? Yeah. When's the last time my husband, by the way, when's the last time, right? And it can have you comparing your spouse to somebody else, not knowing that maybe their spouse messed up. So this was kind of like, this was an apology gift.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing this because I'm never around. Yeah. So now let me take one weekend out of the entire year that we can go on a big trip. And not to say that everybody's like that. Yeah. But just going within yourself to say, hey, well, that's them. But I don't know their situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the good, because it's just like, you don't know. Maybe it is well. And sometimes I say, well, maybe they got it going on like that. And it is what it is. Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it. It is what it is. So let's talk about that, because that's a whole nother aspect. Because I had to ask myself this question not too long ago. What if the grass is actually greener on the other side? Yeah. Would I feel like I'm missing out on something? Wow. Or do I have to come to grips with, or the reality, allow the reality to sink in, that maybe they're doing something that I'm not doing? Right?
Yep.
Instead of me looking at them, oh, why did they? Or I'm jealous, I feel some kind of way. My neighbor the other day, I'm outside working on my grass. His grass looks beautiful. My grass is coming. It's in process. Right. He doesn't even say anything. He just He's an older guy. He just does just like this as I'm out working on my lawn. So I walk over, out of respect. And he pretty much says, you need to buy this. You need to do this. You need to go here. You need to get this, how much it costs. I thought he was going to let me use his. No, he didn't. His equipment's sitting right there. He said, no, go get yours. Oh, that could preach all by itself. He said, no, you can't have mine. But let me show you what to get.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. What's that that saying that says, like, I'm gonna mess it up, but like, you teach a person.
Yeah, if you give a man a fish, then he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man a fish, then he'll eat for a lifetime. Okay. Right?
Yeah, I know they probably don't have anything to
do with it. It absolutely does, because he didn't just give me his equipment to use for the day, because he wouldn't let me use it every single week. He says, this is where you need to go to get it. Right? And so I went out and I got the equipment.
You invested.
The reason that his grass is greener is because he's been investing in his lawn. He invested in an aerator. He invested in a dethatcher. He invested in weed and feed. He invested in seed. He invested in fertilizer, right? He invested in all of that stuff. And guess what? The investment wasn't yesterday. The investment was months ago. Yeah. The investment was months ago that he's been pouring into this. And so now he's seeing the benefits. How would I look at his lawn and say, oh, I wish I had that. Oh, he don't deserve that. What makes him better than me when he's been investing the entire time?
Right.
What if the grass is actually greener?
Yeah, what you going to do?
What are you going to do then?
What you going to do?
There's something I need to do differently. Maybe instead of me being jealous, maybe I need to go to him instead of him calling me over, which is awesome. A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
To call you over and say, hey, let me show you.
But that's why you got to settle the issues in the heart first, because like you get your heart right, then you can better approach things. Like, so then may be, you'll be able to say, okay, I'm not too prideful that I can't go and ask questions, or I'm not too jealous of this person that I can't pray for them and continue and pray that God will continue to bless them.
What if the person that has your answer is the person that you're jealous of?
What you gonna do then? Ooh-wee. Yeah.
God.
Sometimes God will literally have me pray for people, like certain people that where I have felt that comparison to try to rise up. He will have me pray for them.
So I've learned that that's one of the ways, that is one of the telltale signs that you have either gotten over the jealousy, or if it's bitterness or unforgiveness, that is one of the telltale signs that you are okay. I'm okay to move forward. Yeah. When you are able to pray for the same person that you feel a certain kind of way towards, when you're able to be empathetic towards somebody, because what you'll find out is that even though his grass is much greener than mine, he got challenges and struggles that he's dealing with that I don't even know about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these times that we're doing all of these comparison traps is like, we have no idea what's going on with them. And so for me, it's like, when I look within my own marriage, when I look within my own family, when I look within my own house, if I'm not comparing myself to anybody else, I am well pleased. I am satisfied.
Yeah.
I am good. Not to be content, not satisfied to where I'm okay to just stay here forever, but I'm content where it's just like, this is good.
Yeah.
Like, this is good.
Yeah.
And it's not until you start comparing yourself to other people to where you feel like, oh, I need to do better. But why do you need to do better? So that you can compete with them?
Yeah.
Or so that you can better yourself? Because you shouldn't be competing. In our marriage, we're not competing with anybody else's marriage.
Nope.
You know who I'm competing with?
Me.
I'm competing with me. You know what I mean?
Trying to do better the next day.
Absolutely.
Right.
There have been people in the past that have said, bro, you're doing too much. Man, you making your wife's plate. Man, you opening the door. Man, you holding her hand. Bro, you doing too much. Somebody even said this before. Man, you making us look bad.
That's crazy.
But that comes from either comparison or competition.
Yeah.
I'm not in competition with any other. Listen to me. Every single man listening to this podcast right now, I am not in competition with you. Every single woman listening right now, she is not in competition with you. We are not competing with any other couples. I'm not competing with any other husbands. You're not competing with any other wives. My job is to make you happy. Your job is to make me happy. And we can be happy together. Like that's our job. Like that's our goal. Like,
that's the goal.
We're competing with each other to see which one of us can please each other more, can make each other more happy.
Yeah.
I think about nobody else's relationship.
And of course, the foundation of that is God. Like, him, and that's something like I think like last week or something I've been just really like meditating on, just about God being our portion. Like, he is my portion. I was
just reading that this morning.
Really?
You didn't even know it.
What? Okay. So, like, him being my portion is enough. And so I've been really just sitting in that, like, meditating, like, Lord, you're my portion. You are more than enough for me. Like, I don't have to go and look out or think that I need this or that and that. Like, you are my portion. And I say that to him, you know, and I say it so I can hear myself and it can get down in my heart that, you know, I don't have to go and seek out anything else. You know, and the Bible tells us, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Like, y'all don't maybe get on here preaching.
Bro.
But real.
Like, no, that's real. What it is. And I don't know why, but we somehow keep on coming back to Adam and Eve. Like, was God not enough?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and he saw something else. They saw something else that was appealing. And he's like, God is he's everything we need. And sometimes when we see things that draw us away, then it's almost disrespectful to God and even to our spouse for us to compare. Yeah. Because it's almost like saying, God, you didn't give me a good enough wife.
Yeah.
God, why didn't you make her like this? Why didn't you do her like this? Why didn't you put her body together like this? Why didn't you make her face like? Why didn't you make her hair like this? Why didn't you give her a character or attitude like this? Well, guess what? You married them. Yeah. So you saw something in them.
You chose. Yeah, that's what you
right.
chose.
Oh, well, she changed. Well, aren't we supposed to?
Yeah.
Aren't we supposed to grow? Aren't we supposed to advance? Right. And so the thing is, like, if I am focused on what God has given me, managing what I have, I don't got time and energy to manage what everybody else got.
Right. I'm
gonna drink my water and mind my business.
Mind my business. Yeah. Period.
This is my business. Come on, business. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm your business, baby.
That's my business. Yes. That's my business. But when you're focused on what God has given you, you don't have time and space to be looking at or comparing anybody else. It's about how can I manage what God has given me to do.
So what do you say to that person who is struggling with that right now? I mean, because I know we done said a lot, but like some things that you can drop and give them, you know, as far as that, you know.
That's a very good question.
Because I know, like, people, like, it's not like, I mean, of course you may have some people who they just breed off of that, you know, and they breed off of being jealous and comparing and, you know, critical of other people because they got some inner issues and things. But there are some people, you know, who may be really trying to do this thing the way God is, you know, desires for them, but they find that little nudge and they get that feeling. They like, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting that to be in my heart. So what should I do now?
So this is tough. This is tough what I'm about to say, because I got to look within myself even for things like this. I feel like it exposes insecurity.
Yep.
Like comparison exposes insecurity.
That's good.
Obviously, there is something in me I feel like is missing. And there might not be anything missing at all, but because you saw something that you desired, then that almost opens the door for a void in you that you feel like has to be filled.
Yeah.
And to me,
and the reality is that it is a void.
It is a void that only God can fill. Right? Because he is our portion. So it's an insecurity. But when you have these insecurities, that's where we end up messing up, filling them with everything else. Well, this is what I want to do. Let me fill it with that. Oh, well, this is what so-and-so is doing. Let me try that. This is where so-and-so went. So let me go there. And we try to fill our insecurity with those things that we see that everybody else is doing that makes them happy. So if it makes them happy, maybe to make me happy too.
Yeah.
But any insecurity means that you are not secure. Right? Yeah. It means you're not secure in who you are or what God put on the inside of you. And the only person that can secure you is God.
Yeah.
So it takes you having to go to God and say, God, why do I feel this way? God, why am I comparing myself? God, what am I missing? And you might find out that he might let you know you're not missing a thing. You're not missing a thing. You have everything you need on the inside of you. But when's the last time you watered your own grass?
Wow.
When's the last time you put down fertilizer in your own yard? When's the last time you tended to the gift that I gave you? When's the last time that you spent time with yourself to discover what God put on the inside of you so that you could produce? Maybe you're looking at somebody produce something that God has put on the inside of you.
You know it. Right.
Maybe that's why you have that feeling or that emotion coming up, because you're just like, what I see is what I know is in me. But the reason I'm jealous is because I know this should be coming out of me.
Yeah.
So I'm mad at you as a man, what's the term for it? I don't think it's passive aggressive. I'm sorry, I can't think of the term right now. But where I'm projecting my anger and my aggression on you because of my own insecurity or because I am frustrated with myself for not being able to produce what's in me.
So as you were saying that, spend more time with God. As you were saying that, it's just like, a tale of two lawns.
Tale of two lawns.
You either are harvesting and stewarding what you have in your lawn, or you're harvesting a different kind of lawn that's going to produce some ungodly things. And it's just like, what you have to ask yourself, do I want to spend more time harvesting this jealousy, bitterness, unforgiveness, hatred, whatever? And, all that sin is, it's sin is sin. It's like, do you want to spend your time producing things like that, or do you want to spend time harvesting and stewarding and tilling your ground and the ground of your heart, getting up all that fallow that stuff and allowing the word of God to be planted in your heart so that you can produce? And
the thing about things, those weeds that shoot up, like you can't just pull them up from the top either. Well, I'm gonna just
go down to the roots.
Yeah, I'm gonna just pull up all of those weeds and one day, boom, my grass looks like his. Nope, it's still there. It's just like you said at the beginning. You have to separate yourself, create some space, and dig within myself and deal with the root. Deal with the root of the situation and what's going on.
Ooh, that's good.
I'll read this to also answer your question in Galatians 6:4. It says, pay careful attention to your own work in the NLT version. Pay careful attention to your own work, for then you will get the satisfaction of a job well done. And you won't need to compare yourself to anyone else. And that's why I can't remember who said it first, but that's why the saying goes, comparison is the thief of joy. I wonder where they got that from, right? Because if your satisfaction comes from focusing on you and a job well done, then obviously if I'm focused on somebody else, that robs me of my joy and of my satisfaction. Somebody else is taking it. You have given it over to somebody because you're focusing on what somebody else has done. So they have your joy. Yeah. They have your satisfaction.
Yeah. And something practical I just want to offer too is, I know we're not only just talking, I know we do a lot of talking about social media, but it's social media, it's off social media, it's wherever you find that that feeling of insecurity that starts to rear its head, and you have to deal with it. But specifically for social media, one of the things that I've started doing for myself is not just unfollowing, when I get that feeling, but I started limiting my time on social media more. Because I understand that I appreciate it, because it is a tool and it's an opportunity to be used for the glory of God. But if I'm on there just sitting on there, just surfing, like it's too much. Our spirits are not made to be.
I think there's a big difference between creating content and consuming.
Yeah.
Content.
So if you find yourself heavy on the consumer side, that might be a good time for you to pull away.
Yeah.
To pull away.
Absolutely.
And to draw into God.
Absolutely. And even for those creating, still having something to create.
Yeah.
So again, pulling away.
All
right, God, what are you trying to show me? What have you put on the inside of me? What do you want me to pour out? What do you want me to say? And then creating that as well.
Right.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Oh man, that was good. This conversation was very good. It was refreshing.
It can go much longer, but we try to we're trying to keep these limited to a certain time frame.
We know you all got things to do. We ain't trying to take up all your time.
Yeah, but it definitely can go much longer. But we hope that y'all enjoyed this content. Listen, if you are listening right now and you have not subscribed, shame.
What's wrong with you?
Just kidding.
We're not gonna put shame on you, but we are gonna ask what's wrong with you.
Please go subscribe right now so that you can get the notifications. Hit the bell on YouTube. Click the notifications on all of the podcast platforms. Share it with somebody. Listen, if you want to support your friends, hit the like button, hit the share button, and drop a comment.
That's all we ask.
Yep.
That's free.
We ain't on here asking for nobody
money.
We
ain't giving out no cash apps or nothing like that.
I mean, but if you want to.
But if the Lord puts it on your heart, go for us.
But you can help support us simply by doing that, by sharing, by hitting the subscribe button, and by dropping some comments, just interacting with us in the chat. As y'all finding out, man, we interact. Yeah. Y'all can find us in the chat.
Yeah, I jump in and I jump out.
Yep.
That's what I do.
Because I got to make some time for me.
All right, y'all.
We love you guys. Until the next episode.
Bye.